I'm really happy to kick off this session about confession. So it's a confession roundup we are making with some members of the community. I lead the people and culture mission at Growens. Growens is a holding company based in Italy with an international business mainly run by BeFree, which is a US remote company. And more than 20 years ago, we started in the office. We started working in the office. But when we launched the BeFree like 10 years ago, for a variety of reasons, it began remote. And so even growing so much in the last years with people across Europe and North America, this conversation about hybrid started triggering within the company. And as a result, as a PNC team, we codify things into a policy, a new policy which is called WOW, which is a kind of a catchy, optimistic word that stands for way of working. And basically what we did was to standardize the hybrid setup where people can choose whether to work from home, from office, or from anywhere. And it comes, I come with my confession, because to be honest, when I embarked this journey, I thought that it was much more about managing teams from remote, taking into consideration the time zone challenges, taking into consideration the geographical distance, and even from a PNC standpoint, I thought that our job was enough in order to enable and to allow people flexibility while taking care of the risks. And I was wrong. Yeah, because I discovered during this journey and even got more in depth thanks to you during the today meetings that remote is not about distance, is not only about time zones control, but is more about kind of a different culture of working, and it's a kind of a journey where the landscape boundaries between anywhere and nowhere really blur into existence. And so the real challenge for people is that the nature of work become both isolating and overwhelming at the same time without providing a clear guidance and awareness about remote working. So what we started doing together with our people is to leverage on this learning and start working on nurturing our culture about remoteness, and especially focusing our teams on the importance of a clear public communication, of empathy, and self-care. So there is much more to learn in our journey, and the important, let's say, is not being afraid of the lessons I could learn before, but continuing this continuous learning journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Enrica. Awesome. Next we have Luciana, General Manager at Boldify.
Thank you. Hi, is this working? Yes, okay. So are you a morning person or are you a night owl? Do you feel like your energy is super high while the sun rises, or your creativity bustles when you have the moonlight? About 6 months ago, I went to do a survey with 55 remote leaders to know what is their greatest challenge. And the answer surprised me. Most of the people were worried about team performance monitoring. And that answer raised me another question. What are we worried about? Are we worried about the amount of hours that people were doing? Are we worried about the outcome? So it's just like a gardener who plants a seed, right? He doesn't go and watch it every single minute or every single day to see if the plant is growing. He knows at will because he plants the seed in the right oil, he puts in the light of the sun, he waters it as soon as it's necessary for it to grow. So the same as the gardeners, we as remote leaders need to trust that we will create the right environment for our team members to flourish. There are many data researches that shows that peak performance changes by people for each individual. So by knowing that and respecting those differences, what I learned was that if I let my team to build their own hours and do the work on their own pace, the productivity would be increasing. Obviously, me as a leader, I needed to set the goals and the deadlines. But as soon as it's set and communicated, they can work in any time that they want. So one thing that I wish I knew before I became a remote leader was for default to trust.
Great job, Erica. Next up, we have Erica from Senior Ops Director, Managing Partner at Human Direct.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so Luciana, we should have aligned because you just did my speech, which means I'm gonna have to shoot from the hip right now to come up with something different. I was going to say that as part of the confession, my name is Erika and I'm a workaholic. So this could be an AA group where we talk about workaholism and what that means. But there were some great talks about distributed work. And it was about distributed works at the company level. And the thing that I wanted to call out is distributed work at an individual level. And you spoke about the night owls and the early birds. I would also address the question of how many are you here who are young parents with kids that you need to pick up during the day. Point being is that we have different cycles during the day, and I hate to wake up in the morning. I wake up when I have to, but I'm actually most active after 8 p.m. And yes, being at a certain seniority level or being in certain type of teams and work environments means also a privilege, because it means that you may distribute your time, your working time throughout the day or throughout the night. Some industries, some roles cannot afford that, and that is a reality. In my company, we basically speak up for, both for our internal teams, but also with our clients. So, in and out of client meetings, and some of them, they say, we go with the on-site, some of them go for hybrid, some of them go for remote, but basically what we say is neither of these is good or bad, neither of these is right or wrong. It's about looking at your teams, and rather than telling your candidates, this is our culture, which at least in my books doesn't mean anything, you should be able to articulate in a little bit more tangible way what it means to be part of your culture. Why do you want people to be on-site or be remote or hybrid or whatnot? And factor in those individual circumstances, which though may seem like, we are being mushy and empathetic, and we need to be tough and show our guys how it's done and whatnot. Empathy actually is the biggest, in my books, the biggest business strategy and the smartest business strategy. And the only way that works, that I have seen work both in startups, in scaling startups, but also in large corporates, is if businesses and leadership have actually taken into account those individual cycles that people operate by and accommodate them so that they are part of a community rather than just coming in and doing a job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. Next up, we have Joseph, Director of Employee Experience at Bloomreach.
Hi, folks. We are all knowledge workers, right? So where does our knowledge mostly sit? Where is it stored? In our brains. So like 2 examples, when somebody leaves the company, he takes the knowledge with them, and we are so afraid because we know how long does it take to replace the person? How long does it take to ramp the person up and gain the knowledge again? Second, how often daily do you ask in other colleagues for any type of information, because you are just trying to get in the knowledge and make good decisions? So I'm always asking myself how to transfer the knowledge from our brains to some tool, some technology that could be searchable. And I feel with the existing technology, there are 2 good approaches. First is single source of truth, which could be tools like Notion, Slide, Confluence, ClickUp, like whatever, and building norms around these tools and make sure like whatever is published in this tool is the truth, and based on this truth we can do good decisions. But when you are a company of like hundreds of thousands of people, I work at Bloomreach, we are like 900 plus people company, implementing a new tool and changing a mindset and asking people to learn something and going through the learning curve is kind of something challenging or sometimes even not possible. So the second approach is like creating or implementing a enterprise search, like taking all the like pieces of these small knowledge sources you have, like the ton of applications you have, connect them all together, let the technology crawl the data, and provide a search engine with AI on top of it. So that's a second good approach. But none of these approaches would work if the employee's mindset isn't centered around like documenting. So my confession is like, we didn't do it this great. And what I wanted to say within these 2 minutes was like, start documenting as early as possible. We didn't do it, and we are now trying to solve this challenge. And the bigger you are, the bigger the challenge is. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Next up, we have Tiffany, Head of People Operations at Convert.
Hello. So I'm going to just kind of join in with the rest of the team here and share that I am a recovering yesaholic. Okay. So maybe there's some more of you out there, but I will tell you, I became a remote leader in mid-2020, and we all know the world was undergoing significant changes in that time. What's different for me is I happen to be an African-American female who has been in HR for several decades, and I had a unique set of skills and experience that really put me in high demand at that time. I kind of felt like this was kind of cool in a not so cool way. It was kind of affirming, you know? So I had all of these opportunities that I'd never had before. There is an opportunity every single day. So I woke up in the morning saying yes. I went to bed saying yes. I probably said yes in my sleep. I was always saying yes. Yes to everything. Because I felt like if I say yes, it's going to show my dedication. If I say yes, it's going to showcase just how compassionate I am about what I do and how I do it and when I do it. Guess what? That wasn't working out for me. I was saying yes to so many things. My quantity, at least in my mind, was outweighing my quality. So a lesson that I learned, that I wish I learned a lot sooner, was the power of saying no. And I realized that saying no didn't diminish my value. Saying no didn't change what I can do, when I can do it, or how I can do it. Not exactly. Saying no allowed me to go after the things that I felt I can make the most profound impact. Saying no allowed me to provide the output that I really could stand behind for my customers, for my people, for my team. It is a journey. I'm going to tell you, to this day, it's a journey. I had to say no to several things so I can say yes to this moment. By saying yes to this moment, I get to be here with you. The power of no is, if nothing else you take from me, just know that is okay. The power of no is in some ways putting you first. So this is not just about embracing the journey of no to step into this fulfilling career, but it's also about embracing the journey of no to step into a fulfilling life. We have to know what we can do and what we cannot do. How do you start? You start by looking at your priorities. You start by taking examination of really kind of what you can handle and what you can't handle. You need to know your limits. That's a tough one. For me, that was extremely difficult to not be able to do it all, because in my head, I can do it all. But no, you have to know your limits, and you have to be able to outweigh the priorities. What comes next? To be able to find the confidence in yourself to say no. And to encourage your team of leaders, your team of staff to do the same. Know when to say no. And guess what? The more opportunities will come around that you'll be able to say yes to. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Sonia from Global Head of Headroom Assistance Incorporated.
Hi. Is a timer working somewhere? Because I'm prepped to work with a timer, right?
It's coming up. Yes, there you go.
Perfect. Hi. I'm sorry. I need to disappoint you guys. This is about me, but it's also about you. And I want to start with an exercise. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Don't look at me. And I'm starting to tell a story. Who has been that person saving you in the last all hands, sending a smile? Who has helped you pick up a huddle in Slack when you didn't know where to go? Who has been that person sending you maybe a flower bouquet just because you had a tough week? And just keep that image in your mind. Maybe that is a name, maybe that is a team, maybe that is no one yet. You don't know yet. But open your eyes again. Because I think that for me has been the game changer. Realizing I'm not in it by myself and I need to find my wing woman, wing team, wing man, wing child, wing dog, wing cat, I don't know, to make this a fun game. Because I think, especially when you're working from home, when you're working from a location that is isolated, and you're just sitting in front of your screen, sometimes the being by yourself can be lonely, and it doesn't have to be. So that has been a game changer for myself, and that's something I would like to give you as a question. Also, I would like to make that change into look left, look right. Now in this room, maybe you can be that wing woman, wing man, wing whatever you want to be to the person next to you. And let's make sure we're in this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Danute, Head of People at Robin.
Hi, everyone. Have you ever found a situation when you feel like a silent observer in the workplace? I certainly have, and I suspect that you have it too. It's disheartening feeling, isn't it? When you are the part of the company, but no one hears what you think. I remember having my first one-on-one meeting with the CEO, and he asked me the simple question, "How are you today?" I froze. I didn't know from where to start. I didn't know if it was good to speak out my minds. I didn't know if I won't be judged for what I said. After having so many meetings, it became a routine, and I understood that this was the place where the trust was created. I understood that this was the place where I can speak without any judgment. And also I understood that this was the power of listening, and where was the environment of the voice, you know, who empowers created. So as an HR, I'm working, you know, with a diverse kind of environments, seeing, you know, companies who cares what employees says, but also seeing the companies who really, you know, like the employees as a part of the big machine and nowhere cares what they think. So I get it. And it's okay, we are all busy. And usually people saying, I don't have time for so many meetings. Rushing from one meeting to the next one seems necessary. But stopping and listening your employees is crucial for the mutual success. Why? Because those employees are the closest to the works. They know the best your product, they know the best services. So I wish I knew before becoming the remote leader that this is the power of stopping, listening to the employees and viewing them as a higher priority and not the obligation. Because empowering voices inspire change and drives the progress. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yvinia, Head of People and Culture at Syntegrity.
Okay. Have you ever thought about what home really means to you? And in the remote work, it's not just a place to relax and spend your time with your loved ones anymore. It's actually, for most of us, it's a place where we work. Now imagine in this world in this changing world, where the companies are not just providing a work for us, but playing a role in promoting well-being and encouraging you to go outside and make some activities outside. Now, where you are empowered and motivated to disconnect with your team, with your screen, and get reconnected with your physical self. Imagine participating in challenges like walking challenge or cycling challenge, where everyone, including the young parents with buggies, can participate. But let's not forget, the self-care is not the whole story. Imagine the company where philanthropy is encouraged, where results of fitness challenges translate in the charitable donations, where the days off for volunteering are appreciated. How rewarding would it be to feel that you are not just improving your well-being, but actually making a difference to someone else's life? Imagine the companies who are providing or organizing the internal discussions or inviting guest speakers on the topics around well-being, like healthy sleep, work-life balance, and remote work setup. Isn't it a nice mental break between your daily tasks and to make a great connection also with your teammates? These are just few examples that we do at Integrity. And this is my firm belief that promoting well-being in a remote within the company is a fundamental step towards a sustainable workplace. And lead by example is a key. Start with yourself and let this positive energy spread. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Fred, founder and CEO of Freedom.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to talk about togetherness. The theme has kind of emerged in the conference as preaching to the choir, so I'm going to just continue preaching. So a little bit of background about myself. I am the founder and CEO of about a 25-person company. We're split between the Europe and Americas. And so we're a bootstrap company. So budget is always a concern, and it's always been sort of a limiting factor. But I've looked at these other companies and their meetups, and I've wondered, how do I pull these off? How do I do these amazing meetups? And the answer is, you don't, at least not at first. You have to be entrepreneurial about it. You have to start small. So how did we start in our company? We started by having geographical offsites in different locations. So we're split between the US and EU. So we had meetups in the EU, meetups in the US. And then we started thinking, how can we be even more geographically opportunistic? Looking for where we have employees in certain areas and having them then going to their areas, having them show off their areas, their culture, and those created great opportunities for our team. And then finally, after 4 of these meetups and hitting some business goals, we're going to have our first whole company meetup this summer, which I'm really, really proud of. So along the way, we've learned a couple of things. One is your meetups can be lower costs. You can be entrepreneurial about it. We use Airbnbs, we look for cheap flights, we look for ways that we can bring people together. We do a lot of walking, we go out for great food, but the idea is we bring people together and let the connections grow. The meetups can also be extended team building. So as it's not just being at the meetup, it's working up to it and after it. So we've put together committees within our company that allow us to then plan the meetups, and that becomes sort of an extended opportunity. And then we found that these great meetups, they all have a recipe. So it's about enjoying the environment, enjoying the connections, and participating in and feeling connected to the business, being involved in strategic conversations. So when we have meetups, we want to have time to focus on creating and strengthening those connections to the team and business. We've seen this in spades. We've seen people feel more connected to their teams. And the takeaway is, even if you have to start small, you can do it. Thanks.